Shalom. Welcome to the Jewish View. My name is Rabbi Nachman Simon with the Chabad House of Delmar, and together with my co-host, Mark Ronich of Statewide News Service, jbiztechphilly.com, and as you can see, now columnist for the Jewish Press.
Right, I write about, I have a column called Albany Beat. It's the third week of every month, it appears. And I talk about how government relates to the Jewish community or doesn't, as the case may be. So now we have with us today Senator Roxanne Persaud, and from my home community that I grew up in, Mill Basin, he represents, and also Canarsie and a lot of other Georgetown community and a lot of other areas in that southeast Brooklyn.
Southeast Brooklyn, yeah. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's wonderful to see you here. You had a short stint in the assembly.
Yeah. Everyone says, well, it's a meteoric rise.
Yeah, but yes, you've done a good job over here. You're already a senator.
You know, I do my best.
And before you were in the assembly, you were?
I was a college registrar. My entire career was spent in higher education.
And collecting money? Is that what a registrar does?
No, that's the bursar. Oh. Actually, before my last college, I was the director of student financial services also. So the registrar and the student financial services.
So what does registrar do?
The registrar is the person who makes sure that every policy is adhered to. So you take care of the students from the time after admission to graduation and beyond. You're responsible for whether it's their registration, their transcripts, transfer credits, everything pertaining to their academic life at the college.
And which school, which college?
Well, I left St. Francis College in downtown Brooklyn, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And prior to that, I was at Pace University.
And you have an accent, so I guess you're from Guyana.
Everyone has an accent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everyone.
I'm from Chicago, and they told me I have an accent.
I hear a Guyanese accent.
It is a Guyanese accent.
There
is a Guyanese accent, yes. I came to the U.S. at the age of 17, and so,
you know,
at times,
yeah,
the accent comes out, you know.
But of course, I'm a Chabad, so therefore our headquarters is 770 Eastern Parkway in Brooklyn, and I go through your senatorial district, and I've been around for so many years. You can see my white beard. And, before it was terrible, that inner city, and now it's like being built up.
It is being built up. Yep. We want it to be built up, but we also want to make sure that while we're building it up, the people who are living there, the people who struggle through hard times can afford to remain there. So that's what we're fighting for. But it's fabulous what's happening. We need it to boost the economy of the district, and that's what's happening.
Well, your district goes into Brownsville.
It starts. It's Brownsville. It's East New York.
There,
I know. Yes,
and
that's where a lot of the development is happening now. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, $1 million condos in Brownsville?
Well,
I mean, I remember Mike Tyson growing up
there, yes. But think of it.
That was the neighborhood from Mill Basin that I was told not to go to.
But you know what? It so happened that many of the Jewish member community came from East New York, Brownsville.
Yes.
So that's where they came from, and they moved over, right. And then they moved into Canarsie and Mill Basin and all that, but they started there.
Yes.
So, it's a community that was always changing, and, change is good, but we have to ensure we take care of who's there. We do not want to displace anyone.
It's incredible because I have children again in Crown Heights, which is only a few miles away from Brownsville, so it's really the same general area. And, they want to buy a house. I mean, they're young people. And like you said, $1 million to buy a house, compared to the...
It's not even a house, a condo.
A condo. And you have no backyard, you have no parking.
Right.
What do you have, Just to say, wow, it's prestige, yes. And so it's people who... Well, you walk around Brownsville, it's this misconception that Brownsville is just a lot of developments, housing, NYCHA developments. It's not really so.
No,
there are many homeowners there.
I think it is high crime.
Well, not...
Excuse me, that's my image. That may not be true now, but that's...
Yeah, but you know what? There are many neighborhoods that were transformed that people thought were high crime. And look at them now.
Prospect Park.
Williamsburg,
yeah.
All of these neighborhoods, people were talking, it's high crime. Oh, we will never go there. And then who lives there now? People, everybody's walking around like, oh, no big deal. I live in Billyburg. It's like Billyburg. Where's Billyburg? But that's what happens. So
Things shift, and it's
Things
so great,
change.
though.
Things
And
change.
Mill Basin, which was swanky when my folks moved there in the early 60s, $30,000 for a home. Now it's $1 million.
Yeah.
They buy a home for $1 million, tear
it down.
and build a $3 million home.
That's right.
Yeah, that's 3 stories, because 1 or 2 stories isn't enough. You know,
Well,
and-
the
and-
district is like that. You know, we go from, you know, the very low end of the economic scale
Yeah.
to very high end. So,
High end.
you know, so you see in East New York, you know, the medium income, it's $28,000. And then you go Bergen Beach and all that, and you'll have a couple $1 million, homes with people with a boat parked in the slip, you know, when everybody has, you know.
Yeah, but are they working on maybe low-income housing, maybe from the state, from you being a
They're
Senate
working
senator?
on low-income housing. When they say low-income housing, we want to make sure it doesn't displace the people who are there. Because what's low income
Why?
for certain parts of the city is not necessarily low income for Brownsville, East New York area.
Well, why do you want to make sure that you don't displace people?
Why should we displace people?
I don't know, I'm asking.
Well, you should
can
not.
ask the
People
questions,
should
I'm
be.
just asking.
I know. People should be able. You've built your life there.
Yeah.
You live there through the struggles, and now when it's changing and it's moving up the scale, you must be displaced. You're no longer good enough for the community. I don't think that's right. I think they should be able to.
Do you know that Nelson Rockefeller displaced tens of
Yes,
thousands
we
of
do.
people to build the Empire State Plaza?
Yes, we do. But we're
Okay.
not talking about then. We're talking about now.
Now, right.
And I think we're socially conscious now when we're looking at communities that are changing. You know, what do you want to do? Give everybody a check and say, hey, move out of Brownsville, move out of New York, so we don't have low-income residents? That's not what we want.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what ethnic group.
Right.
We do not want to displace people.
So let me tell you, Canarsie, which part of, I used to write for the Canarsie Courier.
Uh-huh. I
And
know them well.
I went 1 year.
Uh-huh.
I wrote for them, and there was called The Hometown View from Albany.
Yes.
I don't know if you read my column.
I saw a clip of it once. So,
Oh, once, okay. Here I am in the flesh. Anyway, so then so I would write about, the goings-on here and how it relates to Canarsie. Which part of Canarsie and were you affected by Hurricane Sandy?
yes. Totally wiped out. I'm at 103rd and Avenue N, and I tend to tell people we're surrounded by 3 bodies of water. So I have East 108th Street where the creek is, we have Jamaica Bay, and then you have Paddock Basin in the back of me.
Paddock
And
Basin.
yes, and so the Fresh Creek came in. So when Sandy happened, and they were telling you, be cautious. We were not considered a flood zone,
Right.
so we weren't told that you needed to evacuate. Until someone says, "Oh my gosh, there's water coming in," and you open my front door, and I saw the body of water coming up Avenue N.
You were right
And,
there, you mean?
Yeah, I'm standing at my door, and I'm saying, "Oh my God, the ocean!" And I remember taking my camera, the phone, and turning on the video and saying, "Oh my God, the ocean is coming in on us, and the water is just coming. It's covering the cars, and just
Really?
totally wiped out our cars."
So you lost everything.
All the cars and everything. My basement had 6.5 feet of water.
So how did you recover? Or did you?
How do you ever recover?
No.
You know, you've lost.
Psychologically, you don't.
Yeah, and also, you've lost everything that was downstairs was lost.
Yeah.
Everything. There's no way of salvaging anything, and you have electronics, you have mementos, everything. And a crazy person like me, for Christmas, every new Christmas light that came out, every new display, I would buy them because I want new. Oh my God, I want all these things. And so where do you store them? In your basement.
Sure.
The water comes and destroys everything.
So is it built up now? So what's the story now? What's the present
There's
day?
still many people. When Sandy happened, many people didn't realize that Canarsie was so hard hit, because many of the houses that were hit are concrete brick structure, and so when you drive by, you see these houses standing, but you have to come in,
They're gutted inside.
and then that's where. And then you started seeing people just putting all their belongings outside.
So the personal story with you, did you rebuild your house?
We did. We did the basement, and we did everything. And then you see the foundation is shifted. They said, "Oh, you have to have the engineer come." And then you're seeing again, there's a crack upstairs. You see, so every time it rains, everyone panics. Oh my God, is it going to start flooding? Is
Yeah.
And so right now, there are many homes that are still
But you're okay?
We're okay.
Because I asked,
We're okay.
Phil Gold, you must have something in common with Phil Goldfeder.
Yes. Yes.
When it comes to
When it
this.
comes to this, yes.
You know, so that's
Yeah.
why I'm trying to put this story together where it's just not one community.
No,
It's
definitely
was
not
from
one.
one end to the other.
Definitely not.
I heard a story when I was in Canarsie that there was a rabbi at Seaview Jewish Center.
Uh-huh.
And he says, when I got here, my beard was black, the people were white, now the people are black, my beard is white, it's time for me to go.
Well, that's not, you know what? We
was-
all have to coexist. If we tend
But he
to,
was losing his congregants,
Yes.
is what I'm saying.
Right,
It
but
wasn't-
you know
it
what?
wasn't a color
but a
thing, it
lot
was
of, on Saturday mornings, you see them all walking. There are black Jews who
Yes.
used to attend Seaview Jewish.
Yeah,
Don't know if you know it.
what?
The black Jews who were attending, that, who were part of that congregation.
Yeah,
Yeah. And there were some Ethiopians also.
yes.
So,
Yeah.
and you would see the whole family, the families
Oh,
walking
they-
along, yeah.
No doubt,
So,
but this rabbi had this view that, because he was there from the 50s.
50s, mhm.
Yeah, so he
Yeah,
had this view
but
that
it's-
now his beard is white and the community's black, so now we have to, I
yeah,
have to go.
but you know,
So-
it's interesting, because a lot of the synagogues, they've sold or they've leased their
Yeah.
space to churches now.
Yeah, that's
For example, Temple Emmanuel on Rockaway Parkway,
Yeah.
they still have part of the building that they use, and then their church has part of the
Yeah,
building.
because
Yeah,
their
because the congregation is no
has
longer
shrunk.
there, yes. And so to survive, if you want to keep your property, those are the things you have to do. You know, the temple, the synagogue on 98 is still there. You know, they changed it to, there's a nursing home there. You know, all of, on Remsen Avenue, you know,
They're reinventing
they're
themselves,
reinventing.
yes.
Yeah, because they don't really want to sell the property, right?
That's the first thing you were told to buy when you came over on the boat from Eastern Europe, was to buy property
Buy
in
property
America.
and
Was
keep it at all
that's-
cost.
That's right.
You know,
And
the
that's
Caribbean
a-
people, that's what they aim for. They come to, and many people moved into Canarsie because it was this suburban area within an urban city.
Is there a large Guyanese population?
There, it's a growing Guyanese population.
You know, Schenectady has a very large
Very, yeah, they're always telling me that.
Did you
Assembly, no, you know,
No.
they're always telling me, come on, Assembly Member Steck, who represents Schenectady.
Yeah.
He's like, you have to come and walk with me up in Schenectady. And then there's a council member who
Yes.
who was a Guyanese. So, you know, they're always telling me, come on up. I'm like, yeah, I'll come up.
Well, I'll kidnap you and bring you up.
Yeah, I'm always telling them, I'll come by. And I'm always trying to get back to the people in the city.
No, but it's very important for you to see there was Mayor Al Jasinski that decided in a way to rebuild the city of Schenectady is to go out to Guyana and to bring.
No, he went to Little Guyana,
Little Guyana.
which is Richmond Hill.
uh,
And he started telling them about
Richmond Hill, Queens.
Richmond Hill, Queens.
No, he went to Guyana.
Yeah, but the people who he got there were from Little Guyana, Richmond Hill. They went around and they were telling them about coming to this great place and, you know, promised them a lot. If you come here and, you know, the
Yeah.
properties you can have and
Right.
the opportunities that are there for you. And so they started moving
Right.
from Richmond Hill and all of that to come up. Yeah, that's what, when they talk about Guyana, it's Little Guyana they're talking about.
Oh, well, okay, because he told me he actually went to the.
Yeah, he visited Guyana, but the people who were moving
Were not
there,
from the country?
they're
were
Guyanese from Guyana, but
I
they're
mean,
living
they were
in.
not directly from.
No,
They had a
no.
pit stop in Richmond Hill,
That's
is
right.
what you're saying.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Are you the first Guyanese elected official?
Yes, first Guyanese born elected. Yes.
official, okay.
In the state of New York, yeah.
Now, do you have a Guyana Day celebration at the Capitol like they have
You
every
know,
other type of?
I know, we were talking, actually, Michelle and I, we're talking about that. We're like, we're gonna do something. God's willing, next year, we're gonna do, and you guys have to come by and see what we do.
I go to
See
all
what the
these
fun
events.
things, oh yeah, he came by. You came by and see how we do stuff. And that was on a small scale when I had, during the caucus weekend. But Guyanese people, we're a fun people,
Yes.
you know, because we have this distinction of being the only English-speaking South American country.
I didn't know that, that's
Yes.
interesting.
And so people tend to think of us as, oh, you're West Indian, but we're the only,
So what's the history then, very fast, then, because it's from Britain, obviously?
It's from Britain, all right. We gained independence from Britain, and this year we'll be celebrating our 50th anniversary of independence. Actually, on the 26th, we'll be celebrating. That's all it is, yes. We're a young, independent nation. And so we're going all out, doing many things. And so on the 17th, I think, we'll have some Guyanese nationals who are going to be here, because we're bringing a resolution to the floor to commend the 50th anniversary, and the one will be at the assembly also. And it's just to showcase who Guyanese are. Too often people, when I first came to this country, people would say, "Oh, you're from Guyana," and the first thing they will say, Jim Jones.
Yeah.
Which was on my birthday, November 18th.
No kidding.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
what
every
my
year
birthday's
you
known for.
for Jim Jones. And so we're like, well, he wasn't Guyanese.
No.
Why? And the people, none of the people,
Were
the
Guyanese.
87 people, they weren't Guyanese. So,
Do you know the story of Jim Jones?
Yeah, he was a cult leader.
And he gave Kool-Aid to everyone, and they died.
Yes.
And that's when this phrase came up.
Don't
"You've
drink the
taken
Kool-Aid."
You're taking the Kool-Aid. or
Yeah.
you took-
and it was fun
It's
because
a shame
people
you
was
get a bad name just from some schmendricks
Some-
over here,
exactly.
some schmoes over here.
But you see, but that's what it's about, control. When people allow others to control their thinking, their everything, that's what happens. People are not willing to think for themselves, and they say, "I'll defer to you,"
Yeah.
and don't question
I'm not the
anything.
reporter, but you are the senator, let's go to the politics.
Okay.
The senator, and you are a Democrat, and that's always, the last few years, it's almost a ping pong, Democrat, Republican, who's in the majority. Do you think you're going to get a little bit of it's obviously better to be in the majority than the minority there.
Yeah, that's what happened. When I first came to the Senate, people were like, "Why would you want to leave the Assembly? You're in the majority over there." I was like, well, it's for a good reason. But we're hoping that come election this year, that we can take back the majority. And that's our intention.
Well,
Every,
newly elected Senator Todd Kaminsky
Todd
had
Kaminsky.
a similar situation.
Right.
He was in the majority in
in the Assembly, and he came over.
to be in the minority with a district now that's 3 times the size of his Assembly district and getting the same money.
That's right.
So-
This-
so
and the
where's
same
benefit?
scrutiny, right? It's
Senate
where's-
gets as much as the Assembly.
Yeah.
it's 3 times the size of the Assembly district.
And they earn the same money.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know
And so
that.
where's the psychology in
But
that?
you know what? It's about what is best for your district. What can you do to enhance change for your district? That's
Okay.
why you do it. It's all about community. If you're not doing it to further the causes of your community, then it's not the right thing to do. We could all stay in our good jobs that we had and say, let somebody else do it. But we're committed to making sure we bring what's best for our community.
So who
And that's
succeeded
why.
you in the Assembly?
Jamie Williams, and
Jamie.
she was sworn in today.
Well, she should be so grateful that you decided to move over to the minority in the Senate. She owes you a lot.
No one owes me anything.
Well, I mean that in a...
No, I know, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a joke. I'm like,
Huh.
see, I'm sitting in the back and you're sitting in the front.
Yeah.
Like, see that? But the good thing is, we have now a team again for the whole district, even though, the Senate, the City Council, the Assembly, we've always worked together. And so now we have a full team again.
Now, I have to, since you're talking about a full team again, because I have to bring this up, you'll
Okay.
excuse me, but the last 2 predecessors of yours
Uh-huh.
have in jail, Carl Kruger and John Sampson.
Well, Kruger was not the senator for that district. It was,
No Basin, he lived there.
right, but,
Canarsie, he represented Canarsie. They just withdrew it after.
well, that's a long time, yeah.
But I'm
Well,
just
when he
saying.
was in the Senate at the same time as Sampson. They were both representing different districts.
Fine.
but-
But you know what I'm getting at. In the
Well, you know
sense
what, that's,
So I'm hoping
I mean-
that you get this district on the right path.
well, I've already
With your
started to do
honesty
that.
and integrity and your,
I've started to do that.
your
Last
potential.
week, when you see all the craziness that was happening on television, every day it seems as though every day someone's name was called for something. I have these relatives who keep me grounded.
Okay.
And I remember my cousin called me, she's like, Roxanne, Just want to see what's happening. We never want to see your name like that on television because we will disown you.
Like
We
that,
do not
yeah.
want you to sully the Persaud's name. And they keep me grounded. And the family I grew up in, that's the way it is. You know, you don't envy anyone for what they have because you don't know. My parents always said, you don't know what they did to get it.
Don't
So
drink the
I am
water
not.
in Mill Basin because there's something there where first Kruger drank the water, then Samson got districted into the Mill Basin.
You're
and he
funny.
drank the water.
You're funny.
Don't go there.
There's a guy, these people, I mean, actually, I know someone who, and I, because he's a merchant in my hometown, Delmar, of course, and he's Guyanese, and we're always talking, we're always having a good time, because he's saying he's very religious, and it's, you know, he knows I'm a rabbi, so obviously I'm religious, and we're always talking with each other. Strong family values, and now
Very.
I'm just trying to put two and two together. It just seems like Guyanese people are also, like you're saying, strong,
Strong,
grounded,
that's right.
family, religious.
That's right.
Am I correct in that? I mean,
That's
I
how
don't
it
know
is.
that many
You know,
people.
but that is true. But you know, in every group of people, you always have some bad apples.
Yeah, sure.
You can't run away from it.
Right.
But you
For the
know,
most
for the
part.
most part, yeah. And for me, it's doing what's right because I have no intention of doing the perp walk, as they say.
Yeah.
Never. You're not gonna. That's not me.
Well, someone said that that they should not just close the LLC loopholes for campaign finance reform, but that they should not worry about the pension forfeiture bill, because if prison's not going to scare you,
Right.
and
Well.
then losing your pension is not going to scare you either. Whereas there's
Some
something,
people it might.
you know,
Some people it might.
there's something that's kind of screwy about this, but, you know, I think we've hit sort of we've lowered the bar when this is the first year in so many years, that maybe 15, 20 years, where we could say, stand up and cheer, no one's been indicted this year, this session, you know? I mean,
But
this
say
is like-
thank you, God.
This is like, what? You know, who stands up and says this, you know? That type of
You know what happened?
So,
It's this crazy situation. You want to run for office. To run for office, you have to raise funds,
right.
right? You're raising funds, and then, you know, some people, you start believing that, oh, you're the best thing. Because someone will come and say, I'm going to give you I'm going to raise funds for you, but, you know, you're the best thing on earth. And you start believing that. And then you start wanting to say, oh, I'm going to please you, whatever you got to go away from that. It's making sure you stay the course. It doesn't matter. You want to contribute to my campaign? Feel free to contribute to my campaign. You're contributing to the community. You're contributing to me. You're investing in me for me to work for the community. That's what that is. And that's what you have to remember.
That's
Don't
very
think
well-
about,
very well said.
you're giving it to me, and what can I give back to you?
But you know, it's real interesting that you're in a relatively safe district, that if you don't get primary, you're pretty much clear sailing.
But I'm expecting a primary this year.
You are.
Yeah,
Not from me.
there's a person who was filed and has been campaigning and who will be challenging me.
Okay.
You know what? I'm doing what's right and what's best. And at the end of the day, when I go to sleep at night, I can say, today
Right.
I did my best.
But what I'm saying is that I mean, you don't have to raise the hundreds of thousands of dollars that other senators might have to raise in more widespread contested areas that have real media markets.
Well,
'Cause
that's
you're
true.
not going to advertise on CBS Channel 2 and CBS.
No, not
because-
likely.
You know, because you're.
Not likely.
Right, you
Yeah.
have a different type of campaign that maybe social media.
But it requires lots of mailing. It still costs money.
It does.
Even with social media, if you really want to send as much information out, there's a cost involved in that. You know, the website that you're using, it's cost involved in that.
Yeah.
So there is funding required. If you
How
if
much
you
do
would
you think you have in a district, you know, the way your district is made up? How much do you think you have to raise in order to fend off people and say, you know, potential opponents?
at this juncture, I was told, you know what, we should aim to raise $150,000.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's about right.
Yeah. So, see?
You're getting there.
I'm getting there.
Oh, you're not there
Listen,
yet,
I'm
right?
not there yet, but I'm getting there.
Okay.
I'm getting there, carefully, and we're doing the fundraisers that we have to,
Mhm.
and everything will fall into place.
Okay, so I do want to tell the audience that
Mhm.
you are on several committees, and one is really prestigious, the Health Committee,
Yep,
and Children and Families.
children and families.
Cities,
Mhm.
Civil Service and Pensions, Commerce, Economic Development and Small Business, Cultural Affairs, Tourism, Parks and Recreation, and Social Services.
Social services.
All of this
It's like an eclectic
is
mix.
your district. All of this really
That's right.
comes under your district. It's
Social
just
services, I have lots of foster care
amazing. Right.
in the district. We
You
have
know,
tourism,
Parks and
we have parks and
Recreation, right.
yeah. We have the pier, we have I have a pier, Canarsie
Right,
Pier.
right.
You have a marine park, which is the largest park,
That's right.
right? So all of these
That's right,
things,
Marine Parks
yeah.
District, that's right.
yeah. So
And-
it's,
But you're not on, like, the criminal justice things and like.
no,
code
that was
and-
never my interest.
No.
I was never interested in getting on that.
Because
I was
there's a lot
inter-
of crime in parts of the
Right.
district.
But you know what? You don't have to be on the committee
Every-
to work on it.
no.
And there are only so many committees that
That's
you'll
right.
be on.
Are you ranker on any of these? or
Yes,
which
cities and social service cities, yeah.
Cities and children and families? you're
Cities?
ranker? Cities you're ranker.
Right.
That's the only one, okay. Because some people in the minority have two. that
Right.
they're rankers, okay. So, well, that's great. So do you?
Sorry, I said cities, social services.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
social services?
yeah. Like, wait a
Okay,
minute,
so
I did
you
say
two-
that.
you have
Yes, I have
rankers,
two.
Okay.
Mhm.
How is it that you're, what's the biggest issue in any of these committees that you're so passionate about? Every legislator really has, whether it's, crime or it's a certain bill, like Marge Markey today, she had
That
this bill
sex, yeah.
that she was passionate about, and they were going to, Amy Paulin had a bill. I remember there was the Clean Indoor Air Act, and Dick Granis, was going to fight to the end until he got it, passed.
My
What's your-
passion, we have the maternal depression bill. Maternal depression. Too often the pregnant women or someone who's just had a baby, they're not screened for pre or postpartum depression.
Mhm.
And depression affects the entire family. And so we're seeing more and more women who have had a baby and they're having all of these issues, and no one is really they're interacting with healthcare providers, but no one is really asking them questions that will determine whether they're really of sound mind. And we're seeing that they tend not to be, and that's why if you've seen issues where the mothers are harming their children,
Okay.
right? And it's younger.
Checking the mental health before there's a big
Right.
problem.
So we need to
blow
do
up.
the pre and the post because it affects the entire family.
And
then we have-
That's stuck in the Health Committee?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you one other question. You have a bill that relates to the sale of ammunition for assault weapons?
Yes. My bill that,
You're really
that,
passionate about that.
yes, I'm telling you. Listen, when you see a community that's affected by gun violence and the
yeah.
way it's been a part of my district is, you have to do something.
So tell me what the bill
So
is. Is this the
the
state
bill-
storage bill or no?
No, the bill is that, there are two parts to the bill, where someone who, if you're purchasing ammunition, there should be a limit to the amount of ammunition, the quantity that you're purchasing within a 3-month period. And you should not be able to walk into the store and present and say to the person, I need to buy ammunition for an AK-47, right? When you have a license for a shotgun.
Hmm.
So we're trying to prevent people from doing that, who will stockpile and give it to their friends. And then, the same thing you shouldn't be able to just purchase, AK-47s.
Okay.
You shouldn't. You're not arming the militia. You're not fighting in the war, right? So
That's
we're
what
looking.
Governor Cuomo said, you don't need 120 bullets
You
to kill a
don't.
deer.
But you know what? People have contacted me and says, you don't know what you're talking about because you do need that. And I'm like, if you're telling me that in a 3-month span you're going hunting because you said you're hunting, and you're going to use 4,000 bullets, then we have another conversation we need to have. Because how many animals are you really killing now? And if you're not killing animals, where are you really shooting? Because you said I'm bear hunting, I'm deer hunting.
Right.
The law says you can't be doing that.
You just target practice.
Well, you're not going to be, they're like, yeah, you don't understand. Well, yeah,
And isn't there a range off the Belt Parkway?
yes.
Okay.
Anyone who has a legal right to use
And is
their,
that your district?
yes,
That rifle range?
yes.
Okay.
Anyone
Did
who
they
has,
have a discussion with you about this?
oh, no.
Okay.
No one wants to have a discussion. They just want to say, oh, you're so wrong, and then they send people after you.
Okay, so
But-
I interrupted you. You were saying everyone? You started to say a thought, and I'm sorry, I just...
The people who were coming after us, who took offense to the bill?
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, they know who they are. We're not gonna name them, but it's my obligation to ensure that I'm doing something for the safety of my community to stop
Do you have what's known
that.
as community guns in your district?
No,
Do you know what community guns are?
not really.
That's where gangs hide guns, like under the steps or in a trash can.
Oh, it
And
wasn't
then
called
when-
community guns. I was like, what?
And then when someone needs a gun,
Yeah.
that they tell you,
It's-
oh, you go over here,
That's
we'll
just
hide it.
that's just called gang stashing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, in housing developments, they were having those issues. They're doing patrols and all of that
Yeah.
to ensure that people are not doing that. And then you're asking people, if you see someone doing that, to call it in. Let the police know, let the tenant association know, and all of that. Yeah. So because we don't want them stashing guns. It's not just with the stairway. They used to do it on the corners. Someone is the lookout, and they have a garbage pail there, and they would put all their things there. It's not only guns that they were doing that with. It's
All right, so let me, you're living the dream now in the Senate?
Is it really my dream? I think I've spent my life living my dream because of all the things I wanted to do and all the things I've been involved with. So it's just,
Is this a pit stop
It's-
along the way, or are you going to be like Hugh Farley and be here at 83 years old?
no, you have to see, I want to be able to stay here to affect positive change and then see what else comes.
Okay.
But you're always looking forward, it's like,
Because you're
you
young,
ask for guidance.
Yeah, you're young enough where,
That's right.
so.
Listen,
Right,
my
lot
grandmother
more.
is 100. She's going to knock
Yeah.
on wood. She's going to be 101. So, and I want to be living to that
And
age.
she's independent.
And she's independent. I don't think she lost her sight. But so I want to be of that mindset,
Yeah.
and all of that. So
Very nice. Well, keep up the good work.
Senator, we're glad that you came. You're doing good things, and
Thank
like
you.
you say, continue to do good things, and we'll check in with you in the future to see where you're.
thank you both.
Thank
Continued
you.
success, really.
Stop by my office and we'll chat.
I
Thank you.
All right?
I know where
Thank
you
you.
are.
You do.